Radhe. Today I would like to speak about the process of Siddha Pranali, and please, it is not my intention to spread or talk about any controversial topics, but to shed light on a process which is performed for hundreds of years by many parivars, and I just wanted to speak about some aspects of that process to clear up some common misunderstandings which are still floating around in the digital world. So, every sadhaka who practices Gaudiya Vaishnava Bhakti, he has a goal in mind. So this goal is our prayojan, and it is attaining Swarupa Siddhi. So Swarupa Siddhi means to finally realize our spiritual form, our Siddha Deha. So, actually there are many ways, actually there are several ways to attain Swarupa Siddhi. One is that the Swarupa Siddhi is revealed directly by the Lord himself, by Krishna, or by the holy name, or in our tradition and in the most of the traditional parivars, the Siddha Deha information is revealed by Sri Gurudev, which is then called Siddha Pranali. Not only is our Siddha Deha revealed to us sadhakas, but also the Siddha Dehas, the eternal Swarup of all the Guru Varga. So I would like to shed some light on a very legitimate process, which is, like I said, practiced for centuries by thousands and thousands of sadhakas. So we first hear about the concept of a Siddha Deha in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, we read that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself taught Sanatana Goswami, Mane Nicha Siddha Deha Karya Bhavan. Use the mind for contemplating your Siddha Deha. And he similarly instructed Ramananda Roy, Siddha Deha Chindikore Tai Sivana. Visualize your Siddha Deha and mentally serve that form. So Srila Rupa Goswami took up that concept in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, where he writes this very famous verse, Seva Sadhaka Rupena, Sita Rupena Chatrahi, Tadbhava Lipsuna Karya Vracha Lokanusarataha, 295. Following after the inhabitants of Braja, one should perform service in one's physical body, Seva Sadhaka Rupena, and in one's Siddha Bada, Siddha Rupena, with a desire for a particular bhav. In the commentaries to this verse, Srila Jiva Goswami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they both say that the Siddha Deha should be contemplated on with our chitta, with our consciousness during the practice of sadhana bhakti. Also, Srila Narottama Das Thakur in Prema Bhakti Chandrika, he says that whatever we meditate in our practice, we will attain that goal. He says it is just a matter of being ripe and unripe. In the beginning, it is unripe, and in the end, it is ripe. So it is a process. It is not that the Siddha Deha falls from the sky and we jubilate and we are very happy that we attained it. It is a process, and it takes many years. So, like said, first mentioned, the word Siddha Rupena is in Srila Rupa Goswami's famous Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. But he is not elaborating very detailed about that, because Mahaprabhu entrusted also other tasks to other associates of him. For example, the process about writing about this Siddha Deha and the meditation upon the Siddha Deha was entrusted to Sri Gopal Guru Goswami. He was a close associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and later on he would give that task to his disciple Sri Dhyana Chandra Goswami, who was very famous at that time also and still is. So it may be true that Gopal Guru Goswami and Sri Dhyana Chandra Goswami are not as prominent as the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, but does that mean that they are not important? Who want to be the judge of that? So they are very important for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, because the information we can get from their writings is very, very wonderful. And we can see what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has to say about Dhyana Chandra Goswami. He writes in Jaiva Dharma, Shri Dhyana Chandra Goswami was a past master in all subjects, especially in the matter of worship of Hari. He was second to none. He was the first and foremost of all disciples of Sri Gopal Guru Goswami. He taught Vijay and Brajanath all the truth about Hari Bhajan, considering them quite competent to learn all the matters about worship. From time to time, Vijay and Brajanath used to have all their doubts about the matter removed. They at first made the relation between the daily conduct of life and the daily character of Sriman Mahaprabhu clear from Sri Guru Goswami, and engaged themselves enthusiastically into Ashtakalina Bhajan, or worship, in 8 different ways during the 8 praharas, 3 hours making a prahara of the whole day and night. So this task was given to Srila Dhyana Chandra Goswami, and he very, very elaborately wrote about that in his famous Padati, where he very nicely writes about the qualities of the Siddha Rupena, what Srila Rupa Goswami says. So it is a very legitimate process, and it dates back to the time of Sriman Mahaprabhu. It is not, like many claim, a newly invented theory or practice. Like in Europe they invented the euro. No, this dates back hundreds of years, and hundreds of thousands of followers practice this process. It is not that one has to claim monopoly on one process or the other, but it depends on whose tradition you belong to. So for some, they say that the holy name reveals the Siddha Deha, that Krishna himself the Siddha Deha, or Shri Gurudev reveals the Siddha Deha. Now, how it is revealed and how this process function, it is not to be broadcasted on social media or on the internet, so I will only give some general things about it which I learned. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he writes in his Chaitanya Shikshamrita, Sataker chokon raganuka maikalo bahoi, tokon satguru nikata partana kori letine sataker. Ruchi pariksha koya, tahar bachan nir noyer, sange sanga sita dehar bharichare kori badiben. Translation is, when the sadhaka's lopa for raganuga bhakti is awakened, he approaches his Gurudev with great humility and asks for instruction. If he does so, the Sadguru first examines the disciple's taste, and then, along with devising the appropriate bhajan, introduces him to his own Siddha identity. So Srila Gurudev here acts merely as a channel to reveal this information about the Siddha Deha to the disciple when he sees the disciple qualified. So at the end and ultimately it is all in the hands of a qualified Sadguru. He can see when the time is right for the sadhaka to receive this precious information. So there we have it. Gurudev decides. So there are many Sadgurus, and they decide at which point in our journey of bhakti we will have this desire for this information, this greed, and when the time is right to reveal this information to a worthy sadhaka. So in some tradition it is said that first of all the anarthas should all go away, one should come at least to the platform of Ashakti. And my question is always then, okay, this is very nice, good, but it is very difficult to attain, for example, the platform of Ashakti when you don't have at least a little bit specific self-identification of the form in which you want to serve the divine couple. So this is not a subject to discuss, debate, or argue. It all depends on Sri Gurudev, what he says and how he sees you, the sadhaka, qualified to receive this information. And it is a very, 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 very private matter. It is not something to be proud of or something to broadcast. It is something to treasure and something to keep in the heart. So in our tradition, for example, the Siddha is revealed during the stage of Bhajana Kriya, because it is said that it should be contemplated on with our minds. So at first it may be very difficult that we cannot understand what is there, but we should. It is a process, and this process will unfold itself when we engage in the instruction of Shri Gurudev, and when our heart becomes more and more purified, this form will reveal itself to us by the mercy of Gurudev. So it is a process of being ripe meditation and unripe meditation. In the beginning, we start thinking about and identifying us with the information we have received. So it is not that Shri Gurudev makes up that information. He receives this information from the divine couple, from Krishna, or sometimes even from Radhika, and he gives us this information when he sees the time fit, when we sees that the sadhaka can be qualified to handle that information and use that information. And this gives a wonderful sense of belonging, a wonderful sense of identification, and also when you get the information of who your Guru Varga is, it is like a very, very safe identification with the family. It is wonderful to know to whom you belong and how you can attain your goal in a very specific way. And so it is not that the Sri Gurudev just speculates about some Siddha, but he received this information on the strength of his deep bhakti and his connection to Shri Radha and Krishna, and he will provide this information to the worthy and qualified sadhaka. And this is all depending on the mercy and on the grace of Sri Gurudev. So Dhyanachandra Goswami, he says that in one of his verses of the Padati, actually it's in verse 110, he says that the sadhaka should meditate on his specific manjari form, which is born of the mercy of Sri Gurudev. So this doesn't mean that Sri Gurudev manufactures or Sri Gurudev creates this form. It is just born of mercy, means that actually nothing will happen without the mercy of Sri Gurudev. Yasya prasado bhagavat prasado, yasya prasado nakati kutopi. So born of mercy means that by the mercy of Sri Gurudev, the sadhaka will be starting his journey on the path of realizing his eternal Svarup, and very often it starts with meditating on the name of that very, very specific form. It is not, in the spiritual world, the Nam and the Nami are non-different. It is like Krishna is not different from his name, and the Siddha is also not different from its name, because it's a spiritual object, and the name of a spiritual object and the object itself, they are one. So when you meditate upon the name of the Siddha, it is very, very beneficial, very powerful. Actually, all information, your seva, your guna, everything, your rupa, everything, every one of these informations is very, very powerful to purify our heart and to become more and more identified with that form. It is a process, and the heart needs to be pure. So it is not that you only meditate on your form and you think you are there. It is accompanied and supported by hearing and chanting, mostly chanting, of course, and hearing the pastimes of Sri Radha and Krishna with this sense of self-identification, with this sense of belonging there, with this desire to belong there. And the more our heart gets purified, the more this Siddha will reveal itself to us. It is said that it should be contemplated upon. Use the mind. It's not said that it will fall from the sky and you will be it. It is a process of slowly invoking that bath. It is a spiritual body of bath, of emotions, and we have to cultivate this emotion within our heart by the mercy of Sri Gurudev, and not to give away this information to others, and we have to treasure this treasure this and keep the lid on the pot to make a firm cooking, so to say. So it's a very private matter. I just wanted to shed some light on a process which is, like I said, practiced for many, many hundreds of years, and is not a new invention. It dates back to the time of Mahaprabhu. Gopal Guru Goswami was a close associate. So it is one way of attaining Svarupa Siddhi, and I just wanted to show some light on this process. I just see now there is one question about the creed to enter Raganuga. What is the qualification? Or should we attain some adhikar first? Of course, we have to attain some adhikar first. We have to have faith. We have to have strong faith in the path of Raganuga Bhakti. But Srila Rupa Goswami ultimately, he writes in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that actually what is the first symptom of greed? He writes that when you hear about the pastimes of the Supreme Personality and Srimati Radhika and Vrindavan in the Nikunjas, when you hear about them from the lips of a pure devotee who realized these pastimes, and you feel a desire in your heart, craving to also be there, to one day also serve them in this particular setting, in this particular bhav, in this particular wonderful Unatujvala Rasa Svabhakti Shriyam. Then, when this desire starts to awaken in your heart, it is said that this is the beginning of Lopa. So Lopa is a process, and of course, Srila Jiva Goswami says that the heart needs to be purified somewhat so that this desire to imbibe the mood we heard, the bath we heard into our heart, the heart should be at least clean somewhat, he says. He says, Srila Jiva Goswami, he says, kinshit, even a slight taste for hearing these pastimes is helping us to awaken this sacred greed, this lopa. So, but Srila Rupa Goswami at the end of the chapter of Raganuga Bhakti, he says, the ultimate cause, the ultimate qualification to enter Raganuga Bhakti is the kripa of Krishna and his devotees. So is attaining the Siddha there. So is attaining Svarupa Siddhi. It is all a path of kripa. Some call it pushti marga. It is not. It is not that our efforts will lead to perfection without the mercy of the sadhus and Krishna. So Krishna is giving away his mercy through the gateways of the sadhus, and the qualified Sadguru, he of course knows when and how to inform the sadhaka about his desired form. This is all in the hands of a truly qualified Gurudev, and it is upon us then to embark on this journey. It is the beginning to realize. Srila Narottam Das Thakur is saying it is the process to come from the unripe stage to the ripe stage. So it is not that we are completely forbidden to meditate and to think about our self-identification, as for example a manjari. We have to start at one point. So it is said one point may be that we start meditating on the name of that form, and so on and so forth. Otherwise, why have we deities? Otherwise, why have we pictures of Radha and Krishna if we are forbidden to meditate, if we cannot meditate with our material minds on the divine form? It is true, we cannot fathom and realize the divine form with our material minds, but it is a transformation. The more Svarupa Shakti enters into our heart, the more bhakti it enters into our heart, the more we can realize this divine form. This means that we must be filled up with the aspect of Ladini and Samvit Shakti, this wonderful potency bhakti, and then we can realize the divine form. But it's not that we cannot start at one point. We start with the name, then comes the form, then the qualities, then the pastimes. It is a nicely explained order, and it is similar for the Siddha also. It is not possible to at once be that Siddha. This is very, very rare, this kripa bestowed upon a sadhaka. It is our task, our journey, our process, our daily bread, so to say, to to try to always imbibe that mood, that path, to always think, I'm not this body, I'm not this Tarun Govinda Dasya. Inside of me there is a Bhav who longs to be perfected. So this is helping very, very much in our daily activities to know where we belong and to find this sort of belonging that we are together with our Guru Varga. At me, I can speak, at least for me personally, I've not realized anything, but I have great hope and a great feeling that I belong to a wonderful Guru Varga, and so is every sadhaka in the world feeling about his Guru Varga. So there is no need to quarrel or argue. Everything depends on how you follow your Gurudev and what is the method Shri Gurudev is giving to you and revealing to you. Jai Ho, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Radhe.